What's up guys, it's McKeown back again with another video this week. If you've been following my channel and following me for a majority of this year, you know that I sold a property in the middle of the year that I bought, kind of renovated, lived in it, then rented it out and made a significant amount of profit. The intent was to sell that, use the proceeds plus additional income that I was gonna generate this year to buy my first commercial property. However, as we all know, definitely things change. And in my case, I never purchased that. The main reason is because me as an individual investor and just kind of a low man on the totem pole, I was not able to compete against other institutionalized investors that had kind of their hands in the cookie jar just a little bit more than me. So that opportunity kind of fell by the wayside, but I am officially going to look for my first commercial property now. However, it is going to take a little bit of a turn. Now, with the first commercial property that I was looking at, it was gonna be a 5-unit townhome complex. Really, the opportunity there was to get into an area that is up and coming, put 5 tenants in it, and just hold it for forever. Now, with a lot of the growth that has happened this year and building of my local real estate team, I've decided to purchase a commercial property for the growth of my actual team locally here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, I am in the very early stages of this. I would say in the next 6 months is really when I'm looking to purchase this, and how I'm going to purchase it will be really TBD or to be determined. But I do have my heart and eyes set on really growing my team here locally, and the first thing I need to do is get out of this, great office that I've been in, but it's just not big enough. I'm sharing a space with a local mortgage company, my good friend's mortgage company, but there's really no opportunity for growth here. So if I'm looking to build my team, which I'm actually looking to hire an additional salaried individual in the next 30 days, I need a bigger space. So the real question is, what type of commercial property will I be purchasing? Obviously, I'm looking to house my real estate company, so I'm thinking probably anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 square feet for my real estate team, and probably some room to grow. Now, with commercial, you've all heard it before, most people have heard it before on the residential side, talking house hacking, meaning living in a unit, renting out the other bedrooms, or living in a multifamily home and renting out the other side. Well, when it comes to commercial, you can actually do the very same thing. So one thing that I do want to give you guys a heads up on when it comes to buying commercial buildings is there's actually a ton of different ways that you can actually purchase commercial buildings that will help you further. For instance, I personally am not going to be purchasing the commercial building, meaning McKeown is not going to be purchasing the building. Also, KMAC Realty Group, my actual business, will not be purchasing the building either. The question you may be asking then is, who actually will be purchasing the building? Well, that's gonna actually be a separate LLC or a separate company on my behalf. It's gonna be my rental property company. Now, you may be asking why my rental property company is actually gonna be purchasing it rather than KMAC Realty Group, which is the actual business that will be in it. Well, the reason is number one, liability. So if KMAC Realty Group owned the entire building, KMAC Realty Group could technically be sued from the other tenant, or maybe someone within the company could sue KMAC Realty Group because KMAC Realty Group owns the building. So instead, I'm actually gonna have a separate entity purchase the building and lease it out to KMAC Realty Group, as well as lease it out to the other tenant. Now, the second reason I'm gonna be doing this is ownership structure. So now, when it comes to ownership of KMAC Realty Group, technically I'm the sole owner, but if there comes to a point where I decide to give a part of my ownership of my company to a significant other or someone else, for instance, my buddy and good friend has actual stock ownership within his mortgage company, it makes it a whole lot easier if the separate entity owns the actual commercial building. That way, if you actually have separate ownership, or maybe you have employees that have a certain ownership of the company, they don't actually own the commercial building, your separate entity owns the building outright. And last but not least, what a majority of the reason why we all invest in real estate is tax benefits. Now, there is a ton more tax benefits, and I'm not gonna go into specifics here, but you all can kind of assume as a landlord the benefits of renting your own property to a tenant. It's kind of the same thing on the commercial side of things. So yes, KMAC Realty Group is going to pay rent as well as a separate tenant. So with that being said, I'm gonna be purchasing a commercial property with the intent to have my own personal brand, KMAC Realty Group, in one unit, with likelihood another tenant in another unit to help me what we call house hack, but on a commercial property. Now, when we're talking commercial, we're not going to have the type of returns that you're gonna have on the residential side of things. Residential loans, as we all know, are 30-year notes. They can be 15, but for the most part, if you're looking to cash flow, you're gonna be getting a 30-year Freddie or Fannie Mae loan. When we're talking more commercial, you're looking 20, 20 years. And on top of that, the interest rate's not going to be as ideal as it would otherwise be on a primary home of yours. So the intent here is to have another unit really just helping me pay my mortgage for my commercial property without having to pay it completely on my own. It's similar to kind of the strategy I took with my own primary residence. Now, I didn't build a true duplex and rent out the other side when it comes to my primary. However, what I did do, as you've also seen recently in one of my new videos, is I got a roommate initially. I don't have one now, but I did get a roommate initially to help offset the cost of my mortgage, as well as I built a custom Airbnb suite in it to, again, help offset the mortgage. I'm doing the very same thing when it comes to purchasing my commercial property. Now, if you are local to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you're familiar with the Metroplex, I'm currently located in Coppell on the north side of Coppell, just south of Louisville. I'm looking to probably relocate more central Dallas, near the Dallas North Tollway. Again, this is very, very early in the process, but I'm hoping to find a standalone building there when, again, I can rent out maybe 2,000 to 3,000 square feet on one side and a smaller unit on the other side that I can eventually bulldoze kind of the sheetrock and median in between and turn it into a large commercial space of 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. Now, the big thing when it comes to building a real estate team is overhead and expenses. A lot of the people, especially because I've been fortunate enough to network honestly with successful agents and teams across the country, I see so many people fail because they wind up spending too much money. Now, I've been fortunate enough to join a brokerage that pays me passive income, just like rental properties do, to the tune of being able to pay my entire monthly cost of all of my expenses. We're talking leads, we're talking salaries, we're talking also my commercial property. So truly, at the end of the day, my business is really operating at very little to no expenses. The beauty of this is obviously I can purchase a commercial property way quicker than most people can, and the intent here is to be able to build way faster than most teams have been able to as well. Currently, we are in about 3,000 square feet, but that 3,000 square feet is actually a majority of the mortgage company's office that I reside in. I would say I've got a small office that I'm obviously filming this in, as well as some flex space and a conference room. The conference room is where my team meets about once a week, but moving forward in about 6 months, my hope is to have an actual commercial space for myself, for my entire team to build and grow out of. Now, this is just a precursor to another video that I will do at the beginning of the year, but I do have the intention to really grow my team at least by 7 or 8 more people by the end of next year. And needless to say, I'm not going to be able to do that in the small commercial space I'm currently in. Now, I do want to give some advice for people that are looking to purchase commercial property. It's a little bit different than residential. Now, on the commercial side of things, I personally have about 4 years of tax returns coming from KMAC Realty Group, which again is my local real estate company. And on top of that, I don't just have 4 years of tax returns from my company, I have 4 years of tax returns showing that my company is quite profitable. Now, when we're talking quite profitable, obviously it's going to vary year by year, but I alone can purchase this property on behalf of my real estate company. But again, as I mentioned earlier, for tax benefits, I'm going to be purchasing it out of an individual LLC and rent it back to my actual real estate company, as well as potentially whoever the other tenant may be. Once again, guys, commercial is a completely different beast than residential. It's something that I don't have a ton of experience in. Caveat here, I am not a commercial broker or a commercial real estate agent. Majority of the business that I do is small multifamily or just residential to begin with. Yes, I am an investor at the end of the day, but I really enjoy building my business really on the relationship side of things, meaning individuals that are just looking to purchase or sell a house more on the residential side. The reason is because it's just so much more fun working with individuals that are, passionate about what is happening. They're super excited to purchase a home, or they're super excited to be able to sell it for a profit and be able to use the proceeds to buy even something bigger and better than where they're currently at. So I will actually be using another local real estate agent here that is a good friend of mine. He strictly does commercial and commercial only. We will be kind of doing halvesies on this entire process. He did actually help my good friend Tyler purchase this commercial property, but stay tuned, guys. Again, I'm hoping to have this done within the next 6 months, and I will update you along the way. But if you do have any questions about commercial real estate, even if I am not the most experienced agent in the avenue, I have tons of friends locally here that can help you, and I'd love to help you too. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help, and stay tuned for the next video.